Well, let's move into our final topic, Johnny. And this one, I'll be honest, I'm the most interested for this one of all the topics. This is going to be the fun one for me because earlier this week, Steven Spielberg, who we're going to see one of his movies, Ready Player One. Well, let's be honest, all of his movies this week because they're all in it with the references that will be in Ready Player One. But Spielberg this week basically said that Netflix movies, well, he believes that Netflix is challenging the cinema. And in a recent interview to promote Ready Player One, he expressed his concerns with video on demand streaming and its implication for filmmakers and moviegoers, saying that they being Netflix movies, should be able to be nominated for Emmys, but not for Oscars. And the thing I wanted to ask you is, should Netflix movies qualify for Emmys and Oscars? One or the other, neither, both. And the thing I wanted to kind of set the set piece is some of the most recent Netflix movies to come out. The most recent one, Game Over Man. I am going to watch it. Loved Workaholics. Loved the cast that's in it. Basically, loved Workaholics. So I'm going to watch Game Over Man. Tomato meter, it has 9 reviews since Friday, 0%, a 3.3 out of 10 average rating from the critics. However, you look at the audience score for that, 53% of people liked it, a 3.2 out of 5, which is a little over half of the 50%. That's why it's 53% of people liked it. Then the movie Mute, Netflix movie. Critics, 13% on the tomato meter, 3.9 out of 10 is the average. 50% of the audience liked it with a 3.1 out of 5. Cloverfield Paradox, that came out in February, 16% on the tomato meter, 4.5 out of 10, with the audience at 47% liked it, 3.1 out of 5. And then the last one, Will Smith's Bright, a 27, the highest tomato meter of the 4. I've been going up in tomato meter if you haven't noticed. 3.8 out of 10. An audience of 85% people liked it. The highest audience score of the 4 with 4.2 out of 5. I'll ask you this. Should Netflix movies qualify for them, or will they even? Like, do you think there is a dichotomy of theater movies are better than Netflix movies?
You know what? As of now, the quality of Netflix movies compared to theater movies, yeah, kind of. I mean, especially what you're showing. I mean, I liked them a lot. And maybe it's just the aesthetic that kind of changes things too. When you go to a theater, you feel like you're doing something special, where you're watching something at home on Netflix. It's just like, okay, Netflix is on.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of comes
There's a lot more distractions
that can come
at
into
home.
it. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, overall, honestly, I think while they should be, if they can make it into there, because obviously the Academy has to like
vote them in, nominate them.
And you have to have that good of a Netflix movie. And obviously, here's how I would say it. They should be eligible to be nominated for an Oscar. If you're that good of a Netflix movie, I think you should be eligible to be nominated for an Oscar. Emmys is more of television and whatnot. That should be your Netflix series.
Yeah.
So like
Daredevil, Luke
Jessica
Cage.
Jones, and all those should be eligible for Emmys.
Like House of Cards.
Yes, exactly. But like Bright and the other ones you labeled, and not that maybe they're not good enough to be. And that's part of that. That's part of that plays into it. But they should be eligible for Oscars because they are movies.
Well, here's the thing, and I can't remember. I can't remember where I read this, but the way I feel, I'm the same as you.
Yeah.
If a Netflix movie should be an Oscar-nominated movie, go ahead and nominate it.
Exactly.
However, the thing I don't want to fall into is, like right here, Spielberg also stated that films which are given token qualifications and have a limited theater run, a la Netflix original movies, should not be eligible for the Academy Award. This is the thin line. I don't want Netflix movies being in the Oscars just because it's a Netflix movie. Like, I don't want it to be like, well, we got to get one Netflix movie. Who are we going to nominate for Best Picture? No.
Exactly.
But if it's a movie that qualifies for it, it should be able to be nominated for an Oscar, for an Emmy, for any award that any other movie, any other TV series would go and get.
I completely. I mean, they are. It's not like they're just. It's not like half of Netflix where it's we got this movie that we can stream on here,
or it's like Family Guy.
Exactly. It's not like any of those where they're just taking it from some media, just as a way of streaming it. No, Netflix went out, they put the money down, they hired directors, they hired producers. We're going to
come out with original stuff.
I say actors because I know that I said
you were going to.
Directors, producers. We got all this shit.
Writers.
We got all this shit, writers, so we can get this movie out there. Tell me what's different aside from the way you streamed it out.
Here's
that the movie is different. Tell me how the movie is different.
I'll tell you the difference. And this is what I can't remember where I read this, but it's so true. The big difference between theater and Netflix is that on the theater side, how many times have you been like, man, I wish they would have done this? Well, they're not going to do that because they want to make their money back.
True.
Theaters are going to do stuff to where it's what's going to get us our return investment back on this? What's going to make us the money? There's a lot less. There's some creativity, but there's not a whole ton in the theater going business. There's not a ton of here's the director, be as creative as you want. It's usually hit here, here, and here. We've got to do this. We've got to get our money back. Whereas on Netflix, it's you do you, man. You do you. You can be as creative as you want.
You sure about that?
Kind of let the juices flow. Yeah.
Well, no, because I would think that Netflix as well, they are running a business.
They are, but I feel like when I watch the Netflix movies, there's more of outside the box chances being taken than theatrical movies.
Well,
theatrical movies to me, there are a few that don't, but there are a lot that we're gonna play it safe. Whereas Netflix movies, they don't play it safe.
Well, I mean, because
they go out of the box.
Can you right now play it safe? Netflix original series are kind of a new thing. So I mean, can you really play it safe when you don't have property rights to a lot of things?
Here's the other thing that plays into it.
Yeah,
is I feel like Netflix can be on that more creative side because yes, you might have people coming for these original series, but you also have people coming for I just want to be able to watch. Like I used to just turn on Family Guy and let it go.
Yeah.
Like right now, turn on that 70s show and let it go. You have those people coming back for older stuff that may not watch the new original series.
That's true. So
stuff.
they're making their money back in that way. But to put out the money for a movie, you're gonna maybe it's not as much as the movie because the movie is dependent.
Plus, you got to think of it this way: when we're talking money wise, Netflix basically makes $12 a month now.
Something like that.
Or is it still 10? I don't even know when I
don't
pay
remember.
for it.
I pay for it still.
I just put it on there and it's automated. Now
exactly. I haven't checked it.
They get their thing every single month.
Yeah.
A theater like that to me, where Netflix isn't. Yeah, they want to make their money back. They want to be able to do it, but they can take more risk because it's like, okay, we charge everyone every month. Whereas a theater, it's I go and see this movie once, and that's it. That's it. You're only getting, most times, one ticket price from me.
Yeah,
whereas Netflix, I might not have watched that one, but I still have my service, and tick, 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 after each month I'm getting charged.
But I can also make the argument that all these movies, I'm just going to use Marvel as a huge example, and not all these movies can do this.
Yeah.
Franchising. There's also the fact of selling the movies after they're still making a lot of money off of that.
Yeah, no, there are a few
Marvel
outliers.
as well.
Marvel to me is an outlier. They have built their own business.
But I'm just saying
they're going to make their money back no matter what.
I'm just saying as an example, and like I said, not everyone can do this. But again, there's the franchising, there's the selling the movies afterwards. I had another point I was trying to remember what that is now, but overall, they can make their money back from it. In the same way, and not the same exact way, but in some ways, the Netflix is giving it to Netflix to stream it. Netflix has to pay for those rights to use those movies.
And nowadays, Disney's coming out with their own. Marvel's going to go over there,
exactly.
They're owned
but
by
I mean,
Disney.
let's
DC's coming out with their own service. You can't get DC stuff on Netflix.
I'm going to go with another popular movie that you can't really franchise off of, at least not that I can think of. La La Land.
Yeah.
It's super popular. A lot of people, from what I heard, I don't know the Rotten Tomatoes on it, but I heard it's really popular.
Do you want me to pull up the La La Land?
Sure, if you want. I'm just saying, though, didn't it even win an award?
It almost did.
Almost did.
There was Moonlight.
They messed up. That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, there's something like that where if it makes its way onto Netflix or Hulu, those things have to pay them to use that movie on there. So, I mean,
La La Land got a 92% from the critics. It was an 8.7 out of 10. Audience was an 81, a 4.1 out of 5.
That's not bad. Those are really pretty good scores, actually. But my point is, you can't really franchise off of that too much. You can sell the soundtrack. You can sell this. You sell the movie. But overall, there's not a lot of franchising you can do off of it. But Netflix has to pay. Any movie that's Family Guy, any of those, Netflix has to pay to have those on there. So it's not like they're making their money back strictly off of those. They're paying to have those on there. Then they're making the money off of you guys to A, to pay to have those on, B, to pay for any employees, and et cetera, in a business sense. So I get it that they have some leeway for more risks, but at the same time, it's like, hey, we wrote it just like any other movie. We wrote a script. I generally want you to stick with this. Maybe it's not verbatim, because they do that in other movies too. You have someone like Robert Downey Jr. I know Jim Carrey's done it. I forgot. There's a few other actors. If you do a really well improvised line, screw it, go for it.
And like the thing I'm looking at is, I'm looking right now just on. I know Rotten Tomatoes is the end all be all, but most people do believe that. And like there are movies like Black Panther, franchise with Marvel, 97% critic score. Tomb Raider, 50%. Then you've got movies like A Wrinkle in Time, a 41% tomato meter reading. Audiences, 33% of people liked it. That's one where it's Disney, didn't really do well with that book. Many people didn't like it. Death Wish, both me and you liked it. Critics, 18%.
Yeah.
18%. Jumanji, 76. Peter Rabbit, 60. And I'm trying to throw out, like, Greatest Showman, 55% on the tomato meter. And the thing that I think of is in the movie, like when it comes to these awards, partly it could also be, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone in the comment section said it, I wouldn't be surprised if someone goes, well, why are we talking about awards? How stupid are these awards anyways? Because they just give nominations to the movies that they want to see in there. Like sometimes it's like,
Very
wow,
true.
This movie should have had a nomination and it wasn't even nominated, kind of a thing. Like I can't remember. Oh, it was Andy Serkis. It was someone said on Twitter I saw, how is Andy Serkis not won an award, like an Oscar right by now for his work with the CGI acting? Because like he's done Gollum, he's done Caesar, he's done a ton of face, like, what would that be? CGI acting?
Yeah.
Is that the visual effects acting?
Yeah, it's visual effects, it's CGI acting.
So part of me is like, does this conversation even matter? Because do the awards really matter in themselves?
Yeah.
Besides for the big wigs that made the movie saying, woo, we got an Oscar, I get to hold this this chunk of metal in my hand.
Yeah.
To where like me and you, we're never going to hold an Oscar.
No.
Never going to hold one in our hand, but
not unless we steal one.
But it's but it's interesting to see the other side of this, and this is what I wanted to get into to kind of end of it. Is I'll ask you this: is Netflix? Do you believe in Steven Spielberg? Is Netflix challenging the cinema? Do you see in a couple years Netflix rivaling the cinema enough to where nobody goes to movie theaters anymore and we just go to Netflix for our movies? Only new releases, hey, Thursday night, it's not coming to theaters, it's coming to Netflix.
I mean, if it starts to pay out that way, possibly, I mean, maybe 10, 20 years down the road, where it's like, hey, this one's coming out on Netflix on this day. I mean, you may have to pay extra for your subscription or something like that or something. But I mean, let's put it this way. You're against it, but I sneak food into the movie theater because who the hell wants to pay for that?
Oh, I'm just against it because of the principle of it.
Yeah,
but the side I was going to go with is I could see that.
Done, but yeah, go ahead.
But I could see that happening only because people hate people nowadays.
Yeah,
let's be completely honest. Except for Tomb Raider, which me and you saw at 12:50 at night, so we were the only ones in the theater. Let's think back. Oh, what movie was it? Black Panther or was it Game Night? I think it was Black Panther, where there were people on their phones, people talking. There was someone on their phone a few rows in front of us where I almost had to hold you down because you were going to take your popcorn and throw it at them.
I think it was actually a soda, but yeah.
Yeah, but it was Black Panther, I believe, for that.
It was Black Panther. No, I was, because I could...
But, like, most days, it's like, I don't want, like, the only thing that keeps me from wanting to go to a movie is dealing with the idiots that I have to, and I'm calling them idiots that I have to deal with around me that can't shut up or get off their phone. At least if it's on Netflix, I can know if someone comes to talk to me, I can pause it, and I can be in my boxers. I don't have to wear pants outside. I can do whatever I want in my own house while watching that movie.
Exactly. I mean, you can have friends over and watch a movie then. Yep. And that's the thing. You
for
can
one price. You don't have to buy 5 individual tickets. Hey, everyone come over. I have the Netflix. I'm the one paying for it.
Exactly. Hey guys, I paid for the special weekend pass to get this new movie that just came out.
Yep.
So I mean, right now, from watching the Netflix original movies I have or the reviews I've read on them, Netflix is not doing that so great with them. They're not having great reviews. But let's put it this way. Netflix, if you stepped up your game, I think they should.
If they had the capital. I don't think they
probably don't have the capital.
I don't think Netflix will ever be able to rival the quality you get from a
probably not
theatrical appearance just because of the moolah that they have to spend.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of indie films that are really good, though, too.
I'm not saying Netflix movies are bad in that sense, but I expect the theatrical films to be better in that sense because you might have a bigger pocket to work with.
What I was trying to say about that is if they were to step up their game, get really good movies out there, I think they should have the opportunity to have Oscars and Emmys, depending on if it's a series or if it's
the thing I would hate, and I would hate this the most, if it's like we're gonna have our own awards just for Netflix. No, that's not what we want.
No,
that's not what we want.
That's the thing. You can't have your separate awards like that too. What I would think is like either I would hate to see them do that just because, well, you know what, no one's letting us have any awards for stuff.
Yep.
Stranger Things. I think that would be a great one. They didn't they get an Emmy?
I don't.
They got an award of some sort. I don't know what it was for, but they got an award. But I mean, they should be allowed. Stranger Things. It's a TV series, so I would say they're eligible for an Emmy, not an Oscar.
So they've got,
but an Emmy.
So they got Screen Actors Guild award for outstanding performance by an ensemble in a drama.
Okay.
A Guild Award for producers of a normal. Norman Felton got a Producer of the Year award for episodic television from the Guild of America Awards, and then they've got MVP or MTV Kids Movie and TV Awards as well as a Kids Choice Award. I believe they got that. Millie Bobby Brown got that yesterday.
Well, let me say this. With the popularity, with how good I've heard it, or I've watched it, I think it's good. But the other like outside sources I've heard it's good. You thought it was really good too, didn't you?
Stranger Things?
Yeah.
I love Stranger Things.
Exactly. I would think that...
I have a Stranger Things shirt.
You have more than one, I think.
Yes. I have a Demodogs one. I have a Rugrats one.
Yeah, I just wanted to basically state it.
A regular Stranger Things one. I think I like Stranger Things.
I just wanted it to be stated out there for them.
We've talked about Stranger Things
to make my argument.
Yes, I know
that it should be allowed, like, should be eligible for an Emmy, but only here. I'll say it one more time like this. I think I've said it a few times already. So only for the Netflix series, those should be the ones that are only eligible for an Emmy. The Netflix movies should be eligible for Oscars. Because it's a movie. That's what I think. That's where I sit with it. I mean, you got to be good enough. Obviously, like any movie, you have to be good enough to earn it, but you should be eligible.
I think it's going to be interesting 5 years down the line to see what happens with all of this.
I agree.
Because
5-10 years.
Like, obviously the streaming, we're getting more and more streaming services. Like you and I have talked about Disney, DC, Hulu, Netflix. There's
ESPN
HBO,
has their own.
ESPN has their own. You've got all the different channels like AMC, HBO, Showtime. All of these have their own streaming services now. That I wonder. I don't think that movie theater is going to die completely, but it'd be interesting. I would not be surprised if they did. If it all became like a streaming thing, and it's like that. The only thing that would worry me is, all right, we're going to do this. If it's because I don't know if Netflix, like when Game Over Man dropped,
Yeah.
I don't know if there was enough people selecting that one thing to crash servers.
Yeah.
Is, let's say, Black Panther. If that were on streaming, would that crash a server with so many people going to watch it?
If you don't have anyone maintaining them to like, oh, we need to separate them like
I don't even
into
know
a
if that's
separate
how
server.
It works for Netflix. If like so many people
There's
watch
servers.
one thing, would it crash a Netflix server?
I mean, that would be the thing is if that's something Netflix would have to anticipate is like it's like any of the video games. You know how Overwatch has multiple servers.
Yeah.
So that like, hey, you don't get kicked.
Yeah.
Just because.
And for different regions too.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that would be kind of the same thing for Netflix. Is like, hey, we got to maintain it. We're putting out a brand new movie that's coming from, it's instead of being in theaters, it's coming to us. We're going to have to kick this on multiple servers in this one area so that people don't like get kicked, get pissed. And that's like, sometimes that puts a few people over the edge of, well, what the fuck, Netflix?
Yeah.
A, you call and get like, hey, I paid for the weekend pass of this movie. I want my money back. B, if you don't, I'm going to cancel my service. Some people go that far.
Yeah, some people do. But
so it's like,
any final thoughts on this before we wrap up the show?
I stated the one already. The other one I said, and I agree with you. In like 10 years time, I can see them like slowly
kind of phasing out
of theater and going into, hey, we're gonna stream it. I mean, if it's not Netflix, it'll be on Comcast. If it's not Comcast, it'll be on Hulu. Something though, it'll be like, hey,
and then those individual streaming sites can kind of bid for different movies. Like Marvel. Disney would just do, all right, we'll do our own.
Yeah.
We'll do our own service.
Then I apparently am getting the Disney one.
DC would be like, hey, we're just going to do it off of our own service. Which then, like, that would be smart because then for, like, Marvel, all right, I want to see it. I got to buy the Disney service. Even if it's for that 1 month, you get it. And then if they do something where, like, for those, you have to buy a special thing, if someone doesn't have it, then they got to buy it for that month. And
pay for the special thing.
And then if it's someone like you or I where it's like we don't have it, but it's like, well, fuck, I might as well because I like the Marvel stuff.
Exactly.
Then they get that possible subscription out of us as well. So it's going to be interesting to see if that's
obviously
how it goes.
Do Marvel and you do DC and we'll just...
Of course. That's how it would be. Why pay for both?
Exactly.
Why pay for both and we can share it? Like, of course. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think about Netflix versus theaters, the whole Netflix awards. If you think those movies should qualify for the Emmys or the Oscars, let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. But that's going to do it for the Rick and Johnny podcast this week. Housekeeping here at the end. Number one, if you liked what you saw, you liked what you heard, check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. That is how you help support us. Make sure we can do what we are doing. Just hit 10,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone who subscribed on YouTube. And if you're listening on iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, anywhere around the world, and you have not subscribed, go over and give us that YouTube subscription. Even if you're never going to listen to us on YouTube, go ahead and give us that subscription. It really means a lot to us. Go check out at mostvaluablepodcast.com. I got to stop saying MVP.com.
Yeah.
It's literally not MVP.com.
No, it's not.
It's mostvaluablepodcast.com. That's where you get everything for MVP each and every day. Make sure to give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, if you have it. Store link is down below in the description. And also go check out our new podcast, The Outcast with Buzz and Juice. Want to thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Want to thank you guys for listening to the podcast on podcast services around the world. But as always, have a good day, everybody.